Hey everyone, welcome in. Tonight in the courts, former President Donald Trump's week goes from bad to worse. Venezuelan migrants are suing Florida's governor for shipping them to Martha's Vineyard, and there are new calls for Dan Snyder to sell the Washington Commanders. We start with the mounting legal trouble for former President Donald Trump. Anyway, you look at it, it's safe to say he's had a pretty rough week. Let's start with the Mar-a-Lago documents that were seized by the FBI. The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals overturned Judge Eileen Cannon's ruling that had blocked the Department of Justice from continuing its criminal investigation into Trump over the possibility he illegally had at least 100 classified documents. The three-judge panel, two of which were appointed by Trump himself, said, quote, "For our part, we cannot discern why plaintiff would have an individual interest in or any need for the 100 documents with classification markings. Prosecutors will now be able to review the roughly 100 classified documents taken by the FBI as part of their criminal investigation. The former president has repeatedly insisted that he declassified those documents. But the problem is, he has not provided one bit of evidence to show he went through the proper process to do so. And on Sean Hannity's show Wednesday night, said this.
You can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it, because you're sending it to Mar-a-Lago or to wherever you're sending it. You're the president. You make that decision.
The problem with that is if no one knows he declassified them, was it really done? And how? Legal experts say that Trump is on a slippery slope.
This is significant because it recognizes that President Trump might be on the hook criminally here because of the mishandling of the classified documents.
And that brings us to the special master that Trump asked for and got from Judge Cannon. And you'll recall she appointed senior federal judge Raymond Dearie to sort through the more than 11,000 documents that once sat at Mar-a-Lago. And he, too, told Trump's legal team to show some proof of declassification. So far, they have not. Instead, they argued that they shouldn't have to say which documents the former president declassified yet, because that would be a part of their overall litigation strategy. But the judge disagreed. Dearie told Trump's attorneys that if they can't provide proof of declassification, he'd be inclined to say the 100 documents marked classified are classified, and said that would be the end of it. On that note, last month, we told you about Trump saying that he had a, quote, standing declassification order. He claims that the order automatically declassified anything that he took home with him. But we haven't seen any proof. And now the ACLU of Massachusetts is suing the government under the Freedom of Information Act to hand over the records related to any such standing order. Special Master Dearie demanded any evidence as well. The reason he pushed so hard, that goes back to the burden of proof in civil lawsuits. And WTF is that exactly? Well, in a criminal case, it means the government must prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. But in a civil case, like this one, the burden shifts to the person filing suit, and that's Trump. He has the burden of showing that the documents were declassified. Dearie says it's fair to presume that they weren't, since many were still clearly marked as classified. He says the burden falls to Trump to show a paper trail or some hard evidence to support his claim. But also a note here. As the 11th Circuit said, the declassification argument is actually a red herring. Declassifying a document wouldn't change its content or somehow make the document personal to Trump, and it would not necessarily block charges under the Espionage Act or for obstruction.